Hello and welcome to Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben and as always I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete.
Hey.
Today we're going to talk about ancient aliens. And the ancient alien theory and some of the, let's say, spurious claims that they make.
They're not spurious, they're all true. Every one of them.
Right.
They could be.
No.
Well, let's see the evidence before we make up our minds.
I like the blank. No. not like maybe. No, just
Look,
no.
you guys know I am down for pretty much any alien sighting.
Yeah.
You know that.
Just not a few thousand years ago.
But this, I draw the line at.
Ooh.
I suppose it all depends what this is, doesn't it, I guess?
The claims that the ancient aliens people make, I draw the line at.
Okay.
I think they're quite frankly ridiculous. Show a complete lack of understanding of the abilities of the human race and technological levels at the time.
Okay.
He's been researching this week, I
It's a
think.
fucking strong argument straight
And
off the
in
bat,
some
isn't it?
I
cases,
don't understand the dichotomy. Why are you so for modern aliens but so against ancient aliens? I mean, if you thought
He's
modern...
ageist.
Yeah.
They were more likely to have come in the ancient
I'm not
times.
saying right that they didn't visit us at some point, and I have got the best evidence for that. The best evidence I think certain cultures have been visited by star beings or star gods or whatever you want to call them, aliens, ETs. But all this galactic space travelers, space hippies, whatever you want to call them. But did they build the pyramids? No. Did they build Stonehenge?
I'll go
No.
back to the one on our pyramids. We did one on pyramids, didn't we? And aliens and...
Yeah, we did. We touched on it a bit. I actually think it's slightly racist in some cases, and apparently that's the consensus about this, is that, oh, they couldn't possibly have built the pyramids. Why not? It's just rocks put on top of one another.
That's a bit more complicated than that.
Well, it is, but you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a hard shape to build.
It doesn't take a long... Yeah, especially if you've got thousands of slaves.
Well, they're not even slaves. Thousands of paid skilled workers and some big whips to get them rocks up. But anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more. So let's thank some new and returning listeners. And before I do that, actually, it's a big RIPD to Taylor Hawkins,
Yeah.
drummer from the Foo Fighters who passed away this weekend.
10 drugs in his system. Rock on.
That's rock and roll.
Fucking went out on a high, didn't he, I guess?
He was certainly wasn't at some point. And also, I missed it last week, RIPD to Razor Ramon, 1990s legendary wrestler.
I did that one completely escaped me. I
Yeah.
didn't even know he died.
Yeah, Jess. Heart failure. He was on a year, I think he was 63, something like that.
Wounded.
Yeah, tragic. But he'd taken a lot of roids back in the day. A lot of roids. But still, say goodnight to the bad guy. That was his quote. Say hello to the bad
Yeah,
guy.
he was pretty cool.
He was.
Remember him.
Based his character off Scarface, didn't he? But anyway, let's thank some new returning listeners. I'll read out a selection of them. Shrewsbury in the United Kingdom, that's not far from us. Frankfurt, you're back, welcome back.
Don't forget Albuquerque, just because Albuquerque's awesome to say.
Albuquerque. Islington in the UK, Veracruz in Mexico, Cumming in Georgia.
Coming.
Sofia in Bulgaria, Athens in Greece, that's a new one. Novosibirsk in the Russian Federation.
Could help.
Surprised you're still allowed to listen.
Yeah.
So Mad Vlad hasn't told you can't.
It's probably some kind of dark web or something that's completely hidden off the radar somehow.
I don't think they're quite like China, are they?
They stopped Instagram.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite as bad as China, though.
No, true. We don't get many Chinese listeners. If we don't get any Chinese listeners.
Yeah, I can't say since I've joined, there's been one.
Vienna in Austria, Boardman in Oregon, Guadalajara, Spain, Ashburn, Virginia, Dublin, Ireland, #1 this week. Thanks for listening. And I'm going to say at the start of the show for once, I usually say at the end, but you can follow us on Facebook at Cutting to the Bull in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. SoundCloud is Cutting to the Bull in the PTA, and YouTube is Apocalypse Bull. If you could like us and subscribe, that'd be awesome. Send us a message. Any future things you may want us to have a look at, and as long as it's not too much out there, I'll certainly have a
Even if it is
gander.
out there, we'll always have a look.
I will cover any old shit.
They're like the Netflix of podcasting. We'll do any old shit. So, I have a selection of claims that... Now, before I start, I do own the book which started this all. Chariots of the Gods, written by Eric von Daniken. First published in 1969.
Okay.
1968, sorry.
Yeah, it's a massive
Massive book. 11 million English language copies sold, according to the back.
That's just English language.
Just in English language, and that spurned a whole series of books, and this gained some traction back in the years after it was released. What's a little known fact, given since 2010, when the History Channel launched its show based on this, with Giorgio, whose last name I'll never be able to pronounce, regardless how often I try, but he's the guy with the hair from the memes, Aliens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was Aliens, but it was Aliens.
Suclos?
Yeah. Contained within this 179-page tome is potentially the alternate past of the human race, all laid out in 179 pages.
So he's suggesting that aliens sort of come and planted a seed on this country, on this planet.
Visited us, left their mark, maybe even genetically altered us to get us to where we are.
Right, okay.
That kind of thing.
Or genetically altered a monkey to...
That's it, so they would have genetically altered a monkey into the next bit, and then they'd tweak it again until we are
So
where
we
we
could have
are.
ended up lizard people, couldn't we? Potentially.
If they'd have chose a chameleon.
Yeah.
Maybe one did. And maybe there is some
Queen?
lizard people then.
Well, we know there's lizard people, but they're from the Alpha Draconis star.
Maybe they did, and it got out of hand, and they're like, oh, these lizard people are horrible. It was the time of the dinosaurs, they're like, right, that's it, we're going to
Kill
wipe
them
this
all.
planet out,
And a
yeah.
couple
Oh, you've
survived.
just,
Tip from orbit.
you've just stumbled onto one of the most ludicrous theories they make. One of the most ludicrous claims they make.
Nobody stones, it makes sense.
You know, Giorgio, the show itself is presented as, on the History Channel, it's presented as let's say, one of those shows you're meant to take. It's presented as being factual, but it isn't. That's the issue. It's presented as a documentary. This is the problem I have with it, and it uses claims like ancient alien or astronaut theorists believe, or they ponder, or they suggest, planting that, well, these are experts. Let me tell you how much of an expert Giorgio is. Would anyone like to take a guess at what Giorgio has his degree in? It's not archaeology.
Horticulture.
Economics.
No. Mike?
I know, because you told
Yeah,
me.
I might know, as I told him. He has a degree in bodybuilding and nutrition. He is as qualified to talk about the ancient archaeological impact of anything as I am, Claire is, Pete is, or Mike is.
So how did he get to where he is then?
Because I presume he got onto this and thought, you know what, I can get a show out of that, and maybe he had a mate at the History Channel. Who knows?
Well, he's a presenter.
He's
isn't he?
one of the presenters, but they have a lot of so-called experts, some of them who are a little bit too religious for my liking. In fact, I think, you know the guy who was burning the books the other week
Yeah.
and said there was witches?
Yeah.
I think he's been on this show. Because they believe that dinosaurs and humans lived together, and that ties into the ancient alien theories, and somehow
He probably believes in the
a literal creation.
Nephilim.
Nephilim, exactly, as well. Yeah. So, are these people as crazy as they sound? Well, probably yes, but let's move on to some of the claims that they make. Jonah, because some of this is biblical, because we look at biblical texts in this and ancient texts, and obviously, sadly, some of the oldest surviving texts since the Library of Alexandria was burnt, destroying most of mankind's knowledge, so we ended up with
It was the Lights of Alexandria.
Oh yeah, where's the library then? There was an ancient library that was
wasn't there?
contained
Maybe-
all of
maybe they had a
mankind's
library
knowledge
and
to
a
that point,
lighthouse.
but maybe it did. Maybe it was a city of learning and enlightenment. So wait, we got left is religious texts, and whether that be the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, or even some of the Hindu stuff, the Bhagavad Gita as well. They interpret this as aliens. So Jonah, you remember Jonah, swallowed by a whale?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't a whale. That was a unidentified submerged object.
I like it.
So an ancient submarine.
An ancient submarine. So ancient astronaut theorists love to study old religious texts. In particular, the Bible is an infinite well of inspiration. Although many Bible stories may be based on some kernel of truth, they're not. The story of Jonah being swallowed by a whale is one of the most bizarre tales, and in fact some people believe this to be a parody of early Greek myths. And there's probably some truth to that, because our myths always repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Jesus.
Yeah.
He's exactly the same as some guy called Mithras, is it?
Mithras, and you've got the resurrection thing, and the son of God is Horus, the Egyptian deity. There's a lot of people that Jesus was based on, a lot of gods around the Mediterranean that Jesus was based on. So our myths do repeat themselves, and I'd imagine that when we get out there into space in thousands of years, we'll still carry those myths with us. They've never been away. Look, every culture believes in vampires, werewolves, things like that. It all comes with us. So ancient aliens, Giorgio believe the story of Jonah's miraculous survival is true, and further points out that in some versions Jonah notices the ribs of the whale are gleaming bronze. Giorgio concludes that Jonah was in fact not swallowed by a whale but by a USO.
I suppose it backs up the fact that he wasn't ingested with, like he would have been, like actually broken down by all the bodily acids and such. So it does kind of...
Yeah, but you have to assume in the first place that a dude got eaten by a whale.
Whales live pretty far out.
We had a news story.
We did have a news story where a guy temporarily got swallowed by a whale and then was spat back out.
Yeah.
Luckily.
Obviously, Jonah didn't live for how many days and nights inside a whale.
But he could have. It was a unidentified submerged object.
Oh, and that's why the gang probing never made it into the Bible then.
They cut that out.
Because he was gang probed ruthlessly by the aliens on board.
More than likely.
Censored it. I want the gruesome details, damn it.
Where's the 18 version of the Bible, damn it?
Well, just kind of get a bit...
It's called Independence
18
Day.
after...
Well, the Old Testament's pretty 18 actually, isn't it?
Never read it.
Well, I've never sat there and read the entire thing.
What happens in the end of the
would.
story of Jonah? Does he come out the whale or does
He
he
gets
die?
pooped out.
And that's it.
I don't think he gets pooped out or spat out, but he gets eat out.
A lot.
He tickles
Yeah.
a rib and it laughs and spits him out or something.
You might be onto something with the tickling of the inside there, yeah.
I'm sure there's something along those lines.
Yeah, you might be right with that. You see, the issue I have with this as well is that they've got their decision already that this is aliens.
Yeah.
And they just have to then ignore bits that don't support that and put the bits in that do. Well, in some stories, those ribs are bronze. Not in the official story, though, eh? Now remember as well, this is their livelihood. They make their living out of this. It pays their mortgage, it pays their bills. They're not going to turn around and go, actually, I think it's bollocks.
Well, exactly. They're making a show out of it, aren't they?
They're making a
They've got
show.
to string it out a bit as well.
They're good speaking circuits, they write books. Some of them do very well out of it.
I'm in the wrong trade.
Pacquiao's rocket. Here's a picture of that. You can go and find that on Google, listener. It's a guy sat at what could be a control. He looks like he's sat in some kind of rocket ship, maybe.
It does look like an engine or something, doesn't it?
Something behind him. There's a pointy bit at the front. Bit swastika-y, the front of that, actually, isn't it?
Is it?
Like it curls around a bit like that.
I actually think he's impaled on something. It's just the wrong way up.
Huh.
Yeah, you could be under something there. Maybe he's looking out the wrong way.
Yeah.
Maybe it's up his arse and maybe it's some kind of sexual toy.
Well, he doesn't look very thrilled about the situation, does he?
They weren't very good at expressions in them days, were they?
It's very arty.
It looked like it could be some form of engine though, doesn't it?
It could be.
It could be interpreted as anything, couldn't it?
That's the thing, you can interpret that. And apparently the explanation that archaeology will give you for that is that that's a sign of his descent to the underworld. That little contraption, that's him descending to the underworld.
There's a snake, there's a serpent, isn't there? Not a snake, but a serpent, like a dragon serpent.
You
Yeah?
look through it. Yeah, I can see the dragon's
Yeah.
face at the bottom.
Is it like
Can you?
yeah. The bit you were saying was a bit swastika-y.
Oh, there. I see, yeah. King Jirab Pakal was a ruler of the Mayan city-state of Palanuk in the 7th century AD. Upon his death, he was placed inside an ornate coffin, as this was the style at the time, and sealed in a tomb within the temple of the inscriptions. When archaeologists uncovered his tomb, they remarked on the decorative sarcophagus lid and called it an example of classic Mayan art. The common iconography made it easy for scholars to interpret the symbols and themes of the artwork. On the other hand, ancient astronaut theorists consider this one of their best pieces of evidence, and Eric von Daniken believes that the artwork is incredible, absolute proof for extraterrestrials.
Absolute proof? I'm not quite sure you could go that far, could you really?
Of course not.
No.
How's that absolute proof, for fuck's sake?
Well, according to ancient astronaut theorists, the artwork on the lid of the sarcophagus depicts an astronaut ascending into space on a rocket. Allegedly, his hands are manipulating controls, his feet are on pedals, and he is wearing a breathing tube. An exhaust is firing from the bottom of the rocket.
I didn't see the breathing tube.
There's something up his nose, look. I guess that could be interpreted there.
Is that not just like one of that dragon thing's feet?
Or it's a breathing tube, or it's just really some nice ornate Mayan artwork.
I think it's ornate.
See, I'm looking at the other end with the dragon head. There's stuff hanging out that would look like it would be up his nose if his head was that way. So I just think that's part of the artwork of the dragon.
I don't think he's on any controls at all.
If not, like I said, if anything, it looks like he's got an engine up his arse. That's about as far as that goes.
Yeah, it could be anything, couldn't
It
it?
literally could be anything. The problem with this theory, why would extraterrestrials use a rocket? They can get to the Earth. Why are they using rockets? Why are they using a rocket that we would use now? Isn't that a bit primitive for them?
Yeah, combustion based.
Yeah.
But then is that not just using the resources that we have available?
Well, if they've got
on this
AFP,
Earth?
I expect them to have spare enough fuel to get home. They're probably using some kind of nuclear reactor in some unknown element that we don't have on Earth to power it. It's
Just-
space travel is not years for them; it's weeks or even hours. So I expect them to be able to get here and get home without resorting to using rocket
Or
fuel.
maybe they said, oh, we want to go into space. And they were like, alright, we'll teach you how to
Yeah,
get
like
into
the
space pretty
basic fucking-
basically.
yeah.
There you go. Build this rocket, go into space.
It is a basic
And then
combustion
he's
engine.
in space and he's like, oh my god,
Yeah, they haven't exactly got Mayan mission control.
Now there's ancient Mayan rockets with dead Mayans floating around the air.
It's the greatest conspiracy never told.
Yeah. That's all that space junk
And
is.
it's just dead Mayans up in space. That's where their civilization went. They always say it vanished, right?
Way to
They
space.
all went into space and died. Oh man.
And that temple thing was actually a big rocket, that Mayan temple.
That's the launch pad, innit? It opens
That's
up.
like- yeah. There you go.
The rocket comes up to the middle of it. The temple opens up into 4 pieces. That's how they get on with the steps, because the Mayan ones were stepped, weren't they?
We've just uncovered the secret. We'll have to go there and find the secret.
Sounds a bit Thunderbirds.
It is. It's
Yeah,
exactly like Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Defo.
What about the hybrid creatures you find in mythology?
Like your Medusas.
Your
and things like
Medusas,
that.
your Gorgons,
Yeah.
your Cyclopses, your Griffins. They've got a theory on that as well.
Okay.
Obviously, historically, there's no shortage of mythical beasts. Various stories tell of animals like the Griffin, which is half lion, half eagle, or Medusa, a monster who's from Greek mythology, whose hair was a tangled mess of venomous snakes. Many ancient religious figures were hybrid creatures. In fact, almost all Egyptian gods sported animal heads on top of their human bodies, which I think is a fucking cool look.
Yeah.
But then when you look at Stargate, they all had aminal heads.
They were helmets, weren't they?
Yeah.
Now, you see, that's where I could go for this, you see, because you're like, if I was an alien and I got this sweet jackal-headed space helmet and I turn up to a bunch of primitives, yeah, I'd convince them I was a god for a bit using my superior technology, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd be breaking the Prime Directive.
They don't have the Prime Directive.
They should have.
No one was going to grass on them from here, were they?
Well, that's true. So
Let's face it.
look, I'm building them fucking pyramids. Maybe the pyramids are homage to the alien craft. Who knows? Maybe they were pyramid shaped.
Maybe they are ancient craft.
Oh.
Ooh, they're hidden inside.
You never know.
Didn't they say that they found inside that one of those pyramids a space?
There was like they did like a X-ray, didn't they? Like a super X-ray.
Yes, there's a chamber, a hidden chamber, and it's
Yeah.
quite large. There's one under the Sphinx, and there's meant to be one in the pyramid, but they can't get to it. I remember
There's a secret door at the
There's a
Sphinx by the ear, apparently, but gaining entrance to this secret door is still unknown. But that's apparently where there is a secret entrance. That,
So there's a lot inside these pyramids that we still don't know about, isn't there?
yeah.
I remember getting in from nights once, and they were filming this thing live. It was like 3 in the morning UK time because it was being done in Egypt, obviously, and they'd sent this little robot drone thing up this narrow shaft. Shaft. And they're like, we've got permission from the Antiquities Board to break down this door, and we're going to get into the chamber behind it. No one's ever been in this chamber. We don't know what's in there. And you're like, I was there. It's 4:30. It broke through the door. It goes up a bit further. Do you know what it sees?
Another door.
Yeah. And they're like, well, that's very disappointing. That's the end of the show because they won't let us break down another door. It's taken us years to get permission to do the one. That's the end of the show. Sorry, good night. Pretty much, yeah, that was it. It was like, oh, I stayed up for an hour and a half watching this. I'm very tired now. It's 4:30 in the morning.
You think the Egyptian, authorities would be in there, like just all over it, wouldn't they?
They're very protective of what they've got left. No till I say what they've got left.
They don't know what they've got left, do they? They haven't like bust down all these doors and checked out the booty.
Yeah, but what happened the last time we bust down the British went there and bust down some doors and had a look what was inside. All that stuff now resides in the British Museum. Instead of being in Egypt.
And lots of people got cursed and died.
Allegedly cursed and died. Could have been a curse, it's just as plausible.
And the Titanic sank.
Because he was carrying stuff.
Because he was carrying a sarcophagus.
No, the Titanic was sunk for insurance fraud.
Well, there's that as well.
I just don't done it. Wouldn't you convince a load of primitives that you are in fact a god?
Some form of deity, yeah, definitely.
There was some ancient astronaut theorists think that these tales have an explanation. Ancient alien genetic experimentation. Dun dun dun.
No.
What is it? Island of Dr.
Moreau.
Yeah. After
Famously a terrible film.
Marlon
And
Brando.
Mighty Boost did it as well.
And Mighty Boost did it too, yes.
Yeah, I think they did a better
I
job.
think I preferred their version, to be fair.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but apparently it's an awful film.
No. After all, humans themselves have begun to dabble in genetic engineering, so as the theorists ask, is it so crazy to believe that ancient visitors could well have done the same?
No, I think these drawings and myths, drawings of what they see on a daily basis. You see snakes, you see, all these animals. They just mash them together.
Yeah, you just think, oh, that'd be cool, man. If you just put like a woman with a snake's body and snake hair and
Yeah, maybe it was the earliest form of Marvel or DC.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
It's myths. They're stories created to keep us entertained while we're huddled around the fire at night.
No one until people have thought up aliens. There's no xenomorphs being drawn back in the day, was there? Because that hadn't even crossed their mind.
Yeah.
Has it? So.
And also, the griffin's a heraldic beast, so it's used on coats of arms and things like that in the West. Knights would have, their personal emblem. And if there's only so many animals, isn't there?
Yeah.
You can't keep having eagles and hawks and prancing horses. Fuck it, I'm going to have an eagle and a lion combined. Fuck it. That's badass.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that.
yeah, and people were a bit thick about it in them days. And he goes, "What's that?"
Well, that's it.
I fought 10 of them.
Yeah.
Once and
Yeah. When I was on
Griffin, it was.
when I was on crusade in the Holy Land, I fought 3 of them.
Yep.
That's it, innit? They even throw Nessie and Bigfoot into this, saying that they're genetically engineered creatures by aliens and. Nessie and Bigfoot, maybe they shouldn't be involved in this. They're cryptids.
Yeah.
I think they're natural creatures, if they exist. And I'm more inclined to believe in Bigfoot than I am Nessie, in all fairness.
And then reported long after this, long after.
Yeah, yeah. What about the Teotihuacan?
Oh, nice.
nice.
is an ancient Toltec city near what is now Mexico City. Much of this site is devoted to religiously inspired temples and monuments, including the famous Pyramid of the Sun. I guess they were taking hearts on top of that thing back in the day.
Oh yeah, chopping heads.
Them steps where he ran red with blood. Yeah. How many was it?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Apocalypto?
Yeah.
It's a good film, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never watched it.
How many was it a day? It was a few thousand, wasn't it? They'd have to sacrifice every day.
About thousands.
I reckon.
Maybe hundreds.
A few hundred then. What are you doing this for? Gotta make sure the sun comes up.
Well, no, it's because the crops are failing, wasn't it?
Well, that too, but they did work. There was sun worship as well.
They increased the killing to appease the gods. They're like, oh fuck, crops are failing, we've got to kill more and more. As the crops failed more, they killed more and more.
You'd think that would actually balance out so that the population would dip down as the food level would go up.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they were thinking.
You know what? It's fiendishly clever when you think about it.
You're going to starve anyway, you know.
Yeah, satisfying the gods and making more food for everybody.
Yeah. And satisfying your psychotic bloodlust.
Yes. Now, ancient astronaut theorists believe there is also a giant computer circuit board, mainly because the layout resembles one. There you go. Is there a picture of it? I don't think there is, actually. There's a picture of the temple, but not a picture of the layout. I have seen the picture, to be fair, and it just looks like...
Yeah,
right, it might look like a circuit board to modernise, but you could... It's just laid out, it's got some roads on it, and...
Yeah. It ain't,
Yeah, that's where they used to play the game, isn't it? That square there. The one where they had to get the ball through the hoop and the losing team got killed.
Squid Game.
Similar.
I've never heard of that game.
Yeah, it was an ancient Aztec Mayan game. It was a
Sounds like a
cord,
good game.
and there was a stone
Where
loop.
Murder Ball came from.
Possibly. There was a stone loop set into the wall about 6-8 feet high, something like that either end, and only using their knees, hips and feet they had to get the ball through the hoop. It was only first to one because it was fucking really hard to play.
Knees, hips and feet.
Yeah.
That's quality.
It's like hacky sack, basketball crossed with hacky sack, I guess. The losing team got their heads cut off.
I think they had their hands tied behind their back, or like...
They basically had a ref. Oh, they cut their hands off.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me. Actually, so what makes it specifically look like a circuit board? Well, not that much. The theory also claims that some of the temples are processors, but without much reason why. Because the theorists go further by pointing out that electricity conducting mica was incorporated into some of the structures, and a few underground rooms are entirely filled with mica. However, many ancient civilizations were known to use it, even though the micas are a little curious. Nothing about Teotihuacan is even remotely like a
I
circuit.
don't know what mica is, what is it?
Must be some kind of mineral.
Metal of some...
Mineral metal that conducts electricity. Or we know it to conduct electricity now, but they wouldn't because they didn't have electricity.
Or maybe they did.
I'm pretty sure they'd have made note of that somewhere.
Maybe it was lost with the rest of the civilization.
Little hieroglyph of a guy sort of like touching a little shark sign.
Yeah!
Maybe it's like it's set out for the spacecraft, so when it comes down, yeah, them things that they say are like proto temples, yeah, slot in and charge it up or something from.
You know what, Mikey
Maybe
solved it.
Maybe that's why there's that big square in the middle where they played murder ball. Maybe that was originally a landing pad, and the reason you had those points around the edge, like with corners and in the middle, they were all like
plugs it.
Charging points.
almost, yeah, like.
Or they've just watched too much Star Wars and it's like the Rebel base on Yavin with that big ass temple like that, where they hose the fighters underneath. Just throwing it out there. I think it's a leap though, isn't it?
Of course, it's a
It's a massive leap.
Trying to play devil's advocate, really.
Well, yeah, it's just, but you never know, do you? Fucking hell, like, one of them. I'd like to go back a few thousand years in time and just check it out and just have a look. And
I wouldn't.
No, you end up getting your heart ripped out. They don't want to see a white man, mate, trust me.
They'd think I was a god.
If you put an animal helmet on.
I'd go in.
Are we going on the animal hell or are you going to turn up like a conquistador?
I'd just turn up like him with like modern technology.
In a helicopter.
Like, I'm a fucking god. Bow down, stop whipping those poor little Jewish people, you bastards.
Why are they Jewish?
Look at this meme.
Wasn't it all the Jewish?
I don't think there were Jews in
No,
South America, no, they just...
no, I'm thinking more like your Egyptians. That I was kind of thinking.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that. Like,
So you're going to turn up in jeans and t-shirt with an iPhone?
yep.
T-shirt, save the Jews.
Samsung.
The Jews.
I'd never go with an iPhone. I always go with an
Oh, sorry, you just turn up with a Samsung, other phones are available, and just wow them with tech.
Oh, I'd also have like an AK-47 or something. Like, it just.
I come in semi-piece.
Yeah, you've got to put one or two down to show the capabilities of what you can do.
Definitely! Because if they did come at you with speed, you'd
Strike that
just be
fear
like
into
that.
it.
Boom! And they'd be like that. Ah! What the fuck is that?
This is my boomstick.
Yeah.
Say hello to my boomstick.
You just want the chance to say that, don't you?
Yeah.
That's all it is for you, Mike. You
You're
just-
right.
Shop smart. Shop smart.
No, mate, it'd be cool as fuck.
So you're going to go back to ancient Egypt with an AK-47, a Samsung, in your jeans and t-shirt.
Yep.
You're going to shoot a couple of them to show them who's boss. Right. And then I hope you don't leave the AK there, because that's going to cause problems.
No, don't worry. You see those depictions of guns and things at times.
Yeah.
That's why, because I go back in time at some point with my AK, and that's where the
And leave it there by accident.
Tell me where the aliens are. I'm going to kill one of you every hour.
That's it. Though. I want to go and find out whether there was aliens in them days, because obviously I'm savvy enough with modern day knowledge and such that if I did see these fucking people with these big things on, pretending they were big aliens or whatever, but they were just really people that were a bit cleverer than the rest of them, then I'd be calling
Just
them
knock
out.
their helmet off.
Yeah, I'll knock their helmet
Take
off.
your helmet off, racking the slide on your AK.
Take your helmet off! Yeah, shoot one of them in the knee or something. Just be like, take your fucking helmet off!
And then the entire population rises up against you because you just shot one of their gods.
What I'd do
Help
then,
me.
I'd go with a Barrett. I'd go with a Barrett, because then you can just like blow people in half. I'd really scare them.
So you're going to go back and commit ancient genocide, basically.
No!
Why don't you just go back with a nuke and save yourself the ammunition and time?
I would only be doing this to the slavers, the horrible people, the ones with the whips.
Horrible people that you're judging to be horrible without any knowledge of the society at the time.
Yeah, could be happy.
He could be just he's got a family at home. He's been employed to do that.
Alright, here's the other scenario. Go as a ninja. I'll just be a ninja and I'll sneak in and they won't even know I'm there and I'll just like
That sounds a bit better.
and I'll just observe. Yeah, that'll do. I'll go as a ninja.
So, yeah, if you just start shooting people in a timeline, that's not going to go well for the future.
Yeah, I'll do out that bit. Alright, ninja, undercover, stealth. There we
Have
go.
you watched Future Man yet?
I've seen
No.
bits of it.
Yeah,
No.
watch that, Pete.
Will that give me some tips on what to do
On
then?
time travel, yes.
Yeah.
Sweet.
The sword in the stone. They touch on this.
King Arthur.
King Arthur. The legend of the sword in stone is one of the most famous tales of King Arthur. However, the Celtic legend of a magical weapon only movable by one divine figure is not necessarily unique, and it is quite similar to the Norse god Thor's hammer, Mjolnir,
Kind of, yeah.
and countless other folk tales. Again, every country's got its own version of King Arthur. You know,
Okay. I've never
It's-
heard any of it, but yeah. Other than Thor.
there's always some legendary resistance fighter of some degree. Yeah, because King Arthur was technically a resistance fighter. He was holding off the Saxons and the Angles and the Jutes who turned up from Germany to invade Celtic Britain. He's not king of the full kingdom. He's fighting a war of resistance. Sure, there's bound to be some Viking bloke who did it.
Well, he was the king of Camelot, wasn't he?
And that was actually brought in the 12th century, completely nothing to do with the original myths. It was complete poetic license. Camelot, Guinevere, Lancelot, all complete inventions.
My life.
You mean Merlin doesn't exist?
Merlin's actually mentioned in some of the really early accounts, but there's not a lot. But they probably do think there was at least some dude called Merlin, though not a wizard, probably a druid. Because druids would have been advisors to kings, wouldn't they? Makes sense.
Yeah. Your mate Merlin. What's his name? John Leach.
In addition, historians have been hard pressed to find any evidence that King Arthur actually existed. Well, that's also dubious because there's differing accounts of the original things. It's complicated. The earliest accounts are something like a couple of 100 years after the events happened, so you can argue that it's made up.
Yeah, but they don't think Arthur was his name, do they?
Wasn't it initially Uther though?
Yeah, something like that.
And then they've gone, no, Uther was his dad, but it wasn't. That was the original depiction of him. Was Uther.
It could have been Uther. It could have been Artur. It could have been Artorius. Because it would have been taken place after the Romans had left. So you might have had people still having Roman names. There was actually, interestingly, an upsurge in prominent men being called Artorius not long after the period that King Arthur supposedly lived. So you could argue that people always name their children after someone successful and powerful, couldn't you?
Yeah.
So there's little things which we could do an episode on it one day if you like. I know a reasonable amount of it. We just put in the party. It is quite interesting.
And that's why I named my son Saddam.
Because you wanted to have the finest dictatorial moustache when he grows up. And one day, son, you'll have a mighty moustache.
I meant Adam, not
And you'll get some kids.
Was a joke.
However, according to some proponents of the ancient astronaut theory, not only is the story of King Arthur pulling a magical, unmovable sword from the stone absolutely true, but it also involved aliens. Giorgio points out that this kind of technology could have existed because modern tech has the capability of creating concept firearms with a kind of biometric security. That's true. But I think that's coming onto the scene now because it stops cops getting shot by their own weapons. Apparently that's very common.
Shot by their own weapon?
Yeah, the guy will get the weapon off the cop and use it on the cop, and then that gun gets into the criminal circulation.
It happens in civilian life. People think, oh, I get a gun, I'm much more safer, I can protect my family. You're actually in more danger wearing that gun. A, because someone in your family could accidentally shoot it off. Or B, the criminals probably know more about guns than you do, take it off you and shoot you with it.
Yeah.
And have the balls to take it off you as well.
Yeah, no, we're a bit more violent than you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying a gun isn't a great deterrent. It usually makes people stop for at least a second and go, oh, I'm going to reassess this situation.
I reckon if I was pointing a Barrett at somebody, they'd think twice.
Yeah, but if you're going to lug a Barrett around all day, every
Could
day...
you imagine? Fucking hell.
You're like, and then you're going to have it on a shoulder strap. You're not going to carry it cock locked and ready in the shoulder all the time because you'd never fit your shopping on it.
Maybe a Desert Eagle then. Next best thing in it, but it's handheld instead.
Yeah.
But again, it's more like your kids will get hold of it and shoot you accidentally with it.
Yeah.
That's
you don't
the
want to get
problem.
shot with one of them.
Or shoot themselves.
Yeah.
Which
This happens
happens
a lot.
sadly too much.
In America.
In America.
Yeah,
So
we're
they're
talking.
not-
They're the only psychos that allow guns.
They're going to have fingerprint guns.
So, yeah, so it would
That's
be...
a good idea.
Yeah, every time...
Phones,
I mean, yeah, think of Judge Dredd's gun. That's biometric.
Yeah.
Only he can fire that. It's matched to his fingerprint, so he classes his...
You'll probably
Finger around
find
that-
it's already in circulation.
Oh, they've got the tech now. It's just the technology becoming less expensive, so it's more available.
They can print 3D guns now.
They can, yeah.
They're made of plastic. You can't be detected by metal detectors.
Yep, that's true. They can.
That was done pretty much as soon as the 3D printer was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, let's put a gun in it.
Literally, though, it was. They just did each component, and that was it. They just put it together, and it was a functional fucking gun.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Scary as fook.
That's the big concern at the moment, is people getting 3D printers in the UK and just downloading the specs for a gun off the online.
This guy looks like he's got a huge dong.
Giorgio believes that Arthur's other sword, Excalibur, as well as Joan of Arc's sword, were in fact alien laser weapons. He believes that.
Right. No.
Okay.
I don't know what's so special about Joan of Arc's sword. I don't recall ever hearing anything myth about that. I know she used to hear voices telling her to fight the English, but
Yeah.
She was just a nutter, wasn't she? So
there's probably just some schizophrenia going on there.
Yeah.
Positive schizophrenia, though, in a way. Go and fight
If
the
you're
English.
French,
If you're
yeah.
French, it's...
The film was a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
I didn't watch it.
I think I've watched
it was alright, but she looked like a right dog with that short boy hair.
That's apparently she's depicted.
No, that was just a joke. But no, yeah, I thought it was an alright film when I watched it. It's not something I'll probably rewatch.
No. I don't know what's so special about her sword.
No, there was never any emphasis on a sword in the film. Or
I've never heard any myths about that either.
No, I've never heard that.
What about the Dendera light then? Similar to Pacquiao's rocket, this theory begins with an image that allegedly depicts modern technology. However, this one actually does look a lot like the modern artefact and is purported to depict a light bulb.
Looks like a surfboard to me.
I was thinking surfboard, yeah.
Yeah, he's even got the strap on it, look.
Yeah.
I was thinking a big fucking dong. A big dildo, like. Is it battery powered dildo? It's actually
Well, that
plugged
woman-
into mains.
The woman in the picture is on her knees.
Yeah, it's plugged into some kind of mains that's like, yeah.
You see, it could be a light bulb, the filament in the middle
Yeah, I can see
there.
what they're saying, yeah.
Can you believe any of the proportions in it though? Because you got like a 12-foot bloke and then...
Well, no, he's obviously up to scale.
That's what I mean, like the proportions are really all fluffed. So what is he actually holding? How big is that?
Well, I don't think it's the Hayes manual. I just think it's, I just think it's a bit of artwork. And let's face it, it looks like a dick. And when hasn't a band always made a dick bigger on a bit of his doodling?
I wonder what he is depicting in that. Like, that, just trying to work it out. Like, as a woman kneeling down
Praying in front of him, I think.
with it resting on her head. By the
Well, it looks like she's offering something or reading from a
and then
prayer
there's
book
another
or
one
something.
holding the bell end.
No, I think that's a statue.
Oh, he's resting it on a statue.
I
Then.
think he's resting on... Maybe that's a statue and that's just how it props up. The Egyptians were very ornate.
Okay, but so then what is it? They're saying it's a light bulb.
They're saying it's a light bulb. There's a problem with
where
it.
do they get the... See, if it was a light bulb, you'd want to see little like lines coming from it to depict it as glowing.
Well, the thing is, they're saying it's a light bulb because it looks a bit like a light bulb, and that's their entire argument.
Yeah.
It looks a bit like a light bulb.
Yeah.
That's it. That's their argument. That's all the evidence they've got.
Nothing else
Looks a
to
bit
it.
like a
That's
light
it.
bulb. Now, there has been experiments done where using technology the Egyptians had, they created a chemical glow inside of a glass tube.
Using like lemon and things like that.
Yeah. And they thought that maybe that's a possibility, that that's what this could be. Obviously, it's not to scale in this scenario.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like the Egyptian version of the creation myth, which it says there.
That's probably what it is, yeah, more than likely. I mean, the Egyptian creation myth assumedly is written down lots somewhere. You know,
Yeah,
it's one of the tenets of their faith.
What's the creation myth?
A serpent emerges from a lotus flower into the universe, or a bubble of air in a dark, infinite ocean.
See, that could be a serpent.
That could be a
Well,
serpent.
if you look, you can kind of see a little bit of a
Yeah, that's
serpenty
kind of
face there.
Serpent, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely.
that could be a lotus flower.
Yeah,
couldn't
if
it?
you look at
A
the
petal.
bottom there, there's petals, there's little...
There you go. We've just figured it out then.
There you go, but their entire argument is it's a light bulb.
No.
No, I'm not having that.
And why would you have a 20-foot light bulb?
You've got a big room to fucking light up like.
Resting it on girls' heads. It's
Yeah,
gonna burn their heads.
of course.
Unless it's some kind of torture.
I just genuinely think that's how the light bulb gets held.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
No,
a really
you're right.
fancy light bulb holder.
There
like a
probably
lamp.
Probably was people.
All of that is just a lamp.
It
Yeah.
was slaves.
That's not a dude. Like, that's a statue. That's a statue. That's a statue. That's the. And they just screw the bit on when it runs out.
Oh, yeah, could be.
And there's a big chamber.
But no.
But it's a lotus flower anyway.
Yeah,
It's a flower. Yeah.
the snake.
It's the Egyptian creation myth. I like this one. This is one of my favourites. I don't think it's true. It's just one of my favourites. Although it is interesting, because I have heard this, and I was going to incorporate this theory into an episode on the Black Death. It was a multiple-part series on the Black Death I want to do. Alright, that's been one of my personal favourite. In the Middle Ages, many believed this, while the Black Death was still destroying the European population. After all, they blamed demons, witches, and even the Jews. There's nothing new there.
Do you want to explain what it is, because you didn't read the title?
Oh, the Grim Reaper was an alien, and the aliens caused the plague. Though modern science attributes the outbreak to fleas carrying the Yersinia pestis bacteria, ancient astronaut theorists like author William Bramley blame extraterrestrials.
What?
Ridiculous.
To explain how the aliens infected us, the theory employs another fringe favourite, chemtrails. See, you get a nice little smorgasbord of conspiracies. You find a way you can mould it all into one, and then it's a nice little package for people to digest. It's very clever marketing.
Yep, that's what Q did, wasn't it?
Exactly. Basically humans were sprayed with toxic fumes in the same way that farmers spray their crops with pesticides. Possibly this happened for the same reason, or maybe just for the sake of experimentation. People may also remember the Grim Reaper emerged around this time. Apparently, some delirious victims of the plague hallucinated images of a dark hooded figure.
Everybody was dark hooded in them days.
Yeah, that's true. Could have just been Bob from down the road.
Did they wear the doctors wear those like masks?
Plague
Scary
masks.
masks.
Plague masks.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah, they had. The reason they got that hooky nose is that's got
like
scented herbs in there to stop to stop the miasma getting in, because it was miasma. I said they thought it was like a mist in the air.
Right.
I love that word, miasma. We'll do the plague one day. Probably Christmas.
Lavender and shit like that, wasn't it?
They were on the right sort of lines, weren't they? You know, they knew that bad smells meant
meant
death and
disease.
So they just didn't know what caused it, did they? Or how it transmitted.
That's it. They didn't know it was the rats.
Yeah.
Throwing their shit into the middle of the street probably didn't help their cause.
No, it wasn't. It was that. Yeah, they lived in blood and shit. It was ankle deep in some places running down the street.
The plague weren't going to get you. The cholera would.
Yeah.
Everybody's drinking from, and all your shit's running into it.
Oh, nasty.
There were places to actually go and shit in town. There was like a bridge. There was usually public toilets on bridges. Yeah, there was. There'd be like latrines built into the side of the bridge.
Shit bridge.
Yeah, there'd be on bridges, so he just drops it in the river.
Or bugger down the bottom of the river, fucking collecting it for drinking water.
Floaters ahoy!
There was people whose job it was to break up the shit in the river.
Oh.
Stop it clogging, because remember they're still using the Roman sewers at this point, so cities swelled exponentially. The sewers are backing up because there's someone in there clogging.
Does it make sense?
People didn't bathe as well, so you get fleas and.
I saw my own poo in Bangor. I saw my own poo in Bangor.
Did you?
It was on the pier, the toilet on the pier.
Yeah.
Flushed the toilet, and I went out and looked over the side, and I could have sworn I saw a turd floating on.
Did you put a little Union Jack on it before you flushed it? A little St George cross. Did the lifeboats turn up?
There's a baby drowning! Mike's turn.
Oh man. Back to the Grim Reaper. In the hysteria, people also reported figures appearing in the wheat fields right before the plague struck a particular town. The Grim Reaper soon became the most iconic personification of death. If it wasn't chemtrails, as some theorists suggest, that the extraterrestrials might have used a more personal touch. They simply gassed our food supply from up close while dressed in black cloaks.
That's a cunt.
That's my favourite one. If I'm going to believe one, it's that one.
Nah.
I like this next one.
This has tied its way into it as well now. Because there's nothing sells like Nazis and aliens. Combine the two.
Always find a way of shoehorning Nazis into it, don't we?
Because they're the classic bad guys, aren't they? That's it. They're like, who's bad in history that we can all agree that was really bad? And you're like, the Nazis, yeah. Yeah,
Before
Nazis.
that, it had been Napoleon.
Exactly, yeah.
Before that, it had been Genghis Khan.
Now the Kaiser, of course, as well. So it's like, they're the blue bad guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
And before we went to a stage where we couldn't use the Russians as well. We could in the 70s, 80s, 60s, 70s and 80s, we'd use the Russians. Can't do that anymore, although it's coming back into fashion.
Back now, yeah.
It's coming back into fashion now.
Since the Cold War ended, the baddies turned from Russian to
Middle
Arabs.
Eastern.
Yeah.
You know, it's the film, the iconic film.
True Lies.
Navy SEALs.
I thought you were going to say Team America.
No, it's way later.
But that came out about 1991-ish, I think. Just as the first Gulf War. You've never seen Navy
Never seen it.
SEALs?
It's one of them films I've never seen.
Charlie Sheen?
The Hunt for Red
Sheen.
October I've never seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Good film.
I've seen that one.
I've heard they're good. Both good films, but I've never seen
Well,
them.
Navy SEALs is... It's just a shooter. It's special forces in a
Charlie
war
Sheen,
torn.
isn't it?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen's in it. I showed Michael
Charlie
Baine's in
Sheen
it.
was like...
Michael Biehn. He's only young in it, very young in it.
But when he was
Oh yeah.
not nuts.
He was awesome in Platoon.
Yes, he was very
Very good role in that.
You know what else he was great in? Scary Movie 3. And I reckon he was on the drugs then.
On the tiger juice.
I reckon he was on the tiger juice then. I reckon he was saying yes a lot then. Anyway, Nazis. Nazis and aliens. Did Adolf Hitler base his plans for world domination on secret extraterrestrial knowledge? The answer, of course, is no, because they didn't win.
Yeah.
If you've got flying saucers in the pipeline, you're not going to declare war until you've got a fleet of them fucking flying saucers, because no one else has got them, have they?
Exactly.
You're not going to go, oh yeah, let's just keep developing that as a war. No, let's wait until we've got that.
Unless they got it later on, say 43, 44.
Too little, too late.
At that point, they're on their arse anyway.
I know, that's what I mean,
so,
too little, like it said.
the truth be told, the Nazis did have some advanced technology. We can check out our episode on that. We did it last week of the week.
Yeah.
Both the V1 and the V2 rocket. According to Ancient Aliens, German rocket scientist Hermann Oberth, who was like the number 2 rocket scientist in Germany after von Braun, claimed that this technology was only possible because they had help from beings from another world. This suggests the Nazis had contact with aliens. The UFO community obviously talked to the Nazis quite a bit. The Foo Fighters, of course.
And if the Nazis were ahead in the atomic age, at some point, were they? Before
Yeah, they were.
lost
They
all the
were.
scientists?
Yeah, they had a head start on the Allies. Yeah, totally. They should have got the bomb first.
And
by
maybe
all
the
rights.
aliens were talking to them first before they went to the US.
Would the aliens give us the bomb?
No.
No, but they knew that it was getting built, and they thought, oh, the Germans are going to get there first, so we'll talk to them.
Yeah,
But then all their scientists and things fled.
And we did some nice little sabotage numbers on it.
And then we got the bomb first, and then they obviously switched sides to us.
Maybe.
Maybe, I don't believe any of it, I'm just saying. It's possible.
Which then kind of segues into your Eisenhower and such
Yeah.
like that within that 10-year
Yeah.
period. So, yeah, okay.
Still think he met the aliens.
Yeah.
Also, the idea that the Germans are trying to build a fleet of saucer-shaped craft called Haumbo, Haumbu, I'm guessing in German, has been around for a while. According to these theories, this technology for such a craft was acquired when German engineers reverse-engineered an alien spacecraft that had crashed in the woods of Bavaria. So they're claiming there was a Nazi-German Roswell, without any evidence. Just, oh yeah, they did that.
Smells like bullshit to me.
What about the Vimanas? This is an old one. This is mentioned in the Hindu texts.
Yeah, this was weird.
In ancient astronaut theory, a recurring theme is the ancient depictions of extraterrestrials and their vehicles as godlike creatures with heavenly chariots. Nowhere is this imagery more present than in ancient Hindu texts such as the Mahabharata, with references flying palaces or thrones known as Vimanas. According to Ancient Aliens, these craft, which are allegedly piloted and inhabited by mythical beings, are actually confused interpretations of ancient people witnessing alien technology. While some descriptions of Vimana seem curiously similar to metallic flying saucers, the majority of Vimana depictions describe a very human chariot pulled by flying horses. Now, in that, the Mahabharata and the how do you pronounce it? Bhagavita, something like that. We'll do an episode on that one day, and we'll get the pronunciation right. The Bhagavita. There's they're basically these epic tales of the gods fighting in their sky chariots in the air, shooting laser beams. But see, that's not, again, that isn't out beyond the realms of possibility. If you go for, okay, there was aliens, and you know, there's obviously some kind of space war going on, and it just so happens that both fleets managed to have beat up where the Earth is. So maybe their battle was held above the skies of the Earth, and it wouldn't be the first time it's been recorded in history. Alexander the Great had flying saucers help him, it's recorded. 5 flying discs, flying shields appeared in the sky, fired a laser beam and destroyed the city wall, it's recorded.
Yeah.
There was a 16th century sighting in Germany, there was a woodcut done of it, and it was in the local newspaper that these crescents and crosses in the sky were shooting things at each other.
Okay.
Stuff like this has been recorded a lot, so maybe if there is some kind of space war going on, the Earth's just been kind of...
You're coming round to this now, then, aren't
an
you?
accidental battle. That I could go for, because these are texts that are written down, and maybe they are witness, maybe that did happen. But if you ask me, did they build the pyramids and did they do all this other shit, then the answer's no.
What if all these things are human and it's time travel?
Then that's also a possibility. Maybe it could be a multiverse breaking through in the sky. It could be that thing, that phenomenon where everyone was seeing castles in the sky not so long back, a few years ago. Do you remember that, Mike? Thing when lights at certain levels and bend roads and stuff, it creates optical illusions in the sky. People were seeing these castles on top of clouds.
Ah, yes. That's right.
And there is a certain thing, it's an effect that basically just plays a trick on your eye. But if you're describing these things and they're flying around shooting at each other, then I think, well, maybe that did happen. People do tend to record what they've seen. Or, you know what, it might just be a really fucking cool story. It might be the first sci-fi story ever recorded. Someone's just really imagination. And, I'll get to why this theory annoys me at the end, but, Vimanas, alright, they're flying chariots, flying temples in some respect.
There's a lot of depictions of, like your pyramids, that are actually spacecraft of sorts.
Yeah. Which is what we explained earlier, could be a possibility on those
whole Mayan, the Mayan bloody
or
way
like
the
computer
temples
chips.
were let out. Yeah.
Or they were built to mimic the star gods' homes.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were landing platforms. I think that could be quite a...
Does this link to
Quite a
the
good one.
hieroglyphics that depict like helicopters and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. There you go. Well, that was the image right there.
I just saw one then as well.
That one there. Yeah, when you're looking at the one image where it looks like there's a helicopter of some description.
There's like an Apache helicopter, doesn't it?
Really
Yeah.
does.
No, it's more of a Huey than an Apache.
And he would take me up on it.
He knows his jizz.
He does.
It's got a longer nose.
That
fact,
could
he
be an
knows.
aeroplane bombing something, couldn't it, as well underneath?
That could be a bomber potentially. They look dropping a Moab.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a submarine a little bit at the top there.
The one on the bottom looks like a hovercraft.
Star Wars hovercraft.
Oh, like the one that Luke flies into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flies into
Land
Tatooine.
speeder.
A land
Yeah,
speeder.
that's
Yeah.
So that's been found, but can you put that down to erosion? Could it just be an elaborate hoax?
Elaborate hoax.
Yeah, of course there's money to be made here. I mean, people hoax anything, and the amount
Yeah.
of fraud in archaeology is shocking.
You think someone's just gone in there and tapped
Maybe it's
it
a,
away
no,
and
I think
then
it's a
put
mould.
another one? Oh, a mould. So they've taken a brick out and put another brick in.
Yeah, why not?
They could have been fucking bare naked walls, for fuck's sake. And the whole thing could have been only put on in the past 150 years or something, for all we know.
So all these doors that they haven't opened in the things, they're still tapping away, putting like...
Yeah, they put lots of slaves down in there and maybe they kept...
They're still etching away behind that door that Ben
man.
didn't see, and then they're going to open it up in the next 5 years and then coin some more money off it, and
Yep, that's exactly what has happened.
You know what? It still pisses me off. They kept me up till 4:30 for that. Bastards. I think they'd have done some kind of survey on it, like sonar or radar or something, wouldn't you?
we
Twats.
find out it's a door.
Read it, there's two doors. The number one theory on this list is that aliens killed the dinosaurs. It's one of the hardest to understand, and in fact, episode 10 in season 4 of Ancient Aliens does little to explain why this extermination occurred, except perhaps to make way for humans. In this scenario, benevolent extraterrestrials chose to intervene in the continuous conflict between ancient humans and their formidable dinosaur opponents. The show does depict flying saucers hunting down T-Rex herds with laser weapons.
Metal.
It is pretty metal, but I feel bad for the T-Rexes. But the programme also presents an alternative. Dinosaurs were simply genetically modified by extraterrestrials to be smaller and friendlier, so I presume turning them into birds.
Huh.
Reptiles, yeah.
Well, crocodiles aren't friendly, are they?
They're more friendly than a herd of
I was
T-Rexes,
going to say, compared to a T-Rex...
or a velociraptor.
Yeah. They forgot to do the crocs then, did they?
Oh, the crocs were there anyway, weren't they? They were just bigger, so I suppose... But then
They
again,
were hiding in the
60-foot
water.
croc or 12-foot croc, I don't know which one I'd rather fight.
They were just
Well,
hiding
yeah.
in the water.
They're like them megalodons, aren't they?
They were hiding in the water too. So they got away with it.
Oh man, when was that film where there was a giant alligator in the water?
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid, that's
There's
it.
been a lot. I remember one of my favourite films when I was younger. It's a terrible B kind of movie.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
And I think it was
Death
called...
Trap.
No. It was, I think
Toby
it was
Hooper.
called Alligator or something. And it was a giant alligator that was loose in like the sewers in America. And it was brilliant. Awful brilliant. But brilliant.
Yeah,
It was along the brilliance of kind of bad taste and brain dead, that kind of thing. But it was funny as fuck. I remember watching it as a kid.
Yeah. Death Trap's a bit like that. Where it's like in the swamps, I think, in Florida or Louisiana or something. And it's a shit horror film, really.
There is a new film with crocs or alligators. I can't think what it's called now. It's quite fucking creepy though. It's good and it's scary as fuck. It genuinely is because it's believable and you think, fuck me.
I don't know, my favourite bit of any alligator in a film is when Arnie runs across them in a razor and then shoots one and goes, your luggage.
And the best is Ace Rimmer surfing on a...
When he sky surfed the crocodile. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
What a guy. When it comes to evidence, ancient aliens do not have much to offer. Instead, they lean on creationist authors to convince viewers that humans and dinosaurs coexisted. To support these claims, they point to the supposed inaccuracy of carbon-dated fossils, rocks containing both dinosaur and human footprints, and the ancient artwork depicting their coexistence, although all the evidence presented has been thoroughly debunked.
Is there ancient artwork depicting the existence of
No, it's all
dinosaurs and
fake.
humans? I was saying.
It's all fake. And the footsteps are plastic casts.
Apparently dinosaurs are fake as well.
Dinosaurs didn't exist.
Yeah.
I've heard that theory.
They're all like planted fake bones and that.
Yes,
Why would people do
Christians. Some
I know.
Christians don't believe in dinosaurs. They think it's all fake, it's all a hoax.
Yeah. I've heard
Put there to make us believe in science and not God.
Why?
Well, it's worked.
Well, it's worked for some people. It's worked for a lunatic
worked for
fringe.
For the majority.
What worries me about this is that Ancient Aliens is offering a creationist view and presenting it as fact, and that concerns me for the education.
Are they? I've not heard anyone in this article say with
Humans and
absolute-
dinosaurs living together is creationism.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, they always say that ancient aliens theorists purport or believe.
Yes, but they still present it as fact. They say that as a disclaimer, but they show you a little nice graphic of it happening. You're reading this like, this is what we think.
That's what we think. I don't think it. I think they must be careful to say.
I'll tell you what, I'll go
I
one
haven't
step
watched many
further.
episodes.
I don't think these cunts should have any kind of forum.
Strong words.
I don't think creationism has any place on the TV for something that kids watch.
What about if it's Bible school
Well,
on TV?
Under my regime, that wouldn't exist.
He's got a regime now.
I know.
God, it was only the other day he was saying PM fucking Ben. Oh my God. So he really is planning world
He
domination.
got his badge, didn't he?
He's going to start with
For
Prime
being a
Minister.
councillor, and now he thinks he's
Yeah,
going to be.
he's got his councillor badge now with his smart suit on, not wearing a tie, mind.
Well, I thought it gave him a more formal look.
Yeah.
More informal look, you know?
Formal, informal look.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking all regal.
I was going to say regal.
Looking
We've
I was
got Dictator Ben and Genocide Pete.
Ancient genocide, Pete.
between us, the world will be fucked, mate.
There'll be no one left for me to conquer, I mean rule.
Who's going to be your like council of defence then?
Well, it's not going to be you because you'll kill everybody.
I'll be your.
I'm not letting you have control of the nuclear weapons,
I'll be
Pete.
your offensive strategist.
No, because your answer is nuke 'em.
No, it wouldn't. I don't believe in nukes.
Well, they exist.
I believe in the use of them.
Right, so the geoglyphs of Nazca were created to attract extraterrestrials. There's a geoglyph there. Looks like a little alien, doesn't it?
So we're waving.
Looks like a fucking big alien.
Looks like a grey.
So what? So that they were put there to wave at aliens.
Ah,
What they say, the Nazca lines are created to attract
yeah, to
extraterrestrials.
attract them. Come to us.
Does look like a person with his arm in there, doesn't it? Hello.
Almost like a peace symbol.
Well, the Nazca Desert in Peru is home to an arid plateau that stretches more than 50 miles, and it is covered in countless geometric patterns and figures known as the Nazca Lines. Archaeologists believe they were formed between 500 BCE and 500 CE. I'm guessing that's BC and AD, isn't it? CE. It's just AD. The patterns include clear images of fish, monkeys, spiders, and even humanoids, as well as dozens of long straight lines. These clearly man-made designs are only recognisable from high above, and ancient aliens theorists suggests they're signals to extraterrestrials.
This one's an interesting one, because why would they put drawings that can only be seen from the air when they can't get in the air?
This is an art attack.
The ancient Peruvian Neil Buchanan.
Big art attack.
And well, that's it. I suppose that's the point, isn't it? If they're only visible from the
They would
air.
have never have seen them.
And think about what we've got in Britain. We've got some artwork, big artwork, haven't we? Like the Kernabis giant is a massive naked giant with a hard-on the side of a cliff, and I think there's a horse as well, isn't there? But they're built on the side of cliffs.
With white stone.
With chalk. They're chalk stone. And they're built into the side of hills so they can be seen from the other side of the valley. You can't see these from anywhere, can you? Apart from the air, which is interesting. But maybe it's just some kind of communication for their gods who happen to be aliens.
Could be. It's just an odd one, isn't it?
BC and BCE is before Common Era.
Before Common Era.
Yeah, Common Era and before Common Era.
It's interesting.
It's basically the non-religious version.
I like it. And it's like using it.
BC.
But it's exactly the same. It starts at
Totally.
same date. Yeah.
But yeah, AD is Common Era, CE basically.
Yeah. Now, Nazca Peru has been heavily researched because of its compelling man-made landscapes. The desert has long flat stripes that go on for miles across mountains and valleys, resembling an airport landing strip. How could a primitive civilization alter the landscape so drastically, and why? I think calling them primitive is obviously not correct. I think they're obviously very advanced people if they can make things like that.
Yeah.
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 Or the people they had help from were very advanced.
I think the humans still would have done it. They might have been told how to do it, but they certainly did it. Or it was all carved by alien lasers.
That's what I mean. Like, was it just done very quickly and easily by extraterrestrials? Or future people, future humans?
The question remains unanswered to this day, and that's why they're such a mystery. Is why did they do it? Well, ancient aliens say, well, it's obviously an ancient alien runway strip, isn't it? It's just flying, but surely flying saucers don't need a runway.
Good point.
Maybe they're just, I don't know, it's just art. Maybe it's a vanity project from some. I'm going to make something so big the gods can see it.
That's what I'm thinking.
But the way our atmosphere is, how do you know whether the way an alien would land in their conventional way can't be done in this atmosphere? Because our atmosphere is completely different.
Well,
they have to land.
We can only go on the sightings we have that people have said that in all instances these craft come straight up and straight down.
Yeah, they hover about,
they're anti-gravity craft.
Have complete control over whatever they want to do, basically.
Yeah, we can only go on what has been reported, collaborated by other accounts from people.
Maybe they're just paths and roads that people used, and
yeah, we know we're at Eagle now, so we've got to go this way to Monkey.
You can navigate it in the dark. You don't need to know where you're going. As long as you follow the path, you don't got to see what's in front of you.
Well,
now, if you got to cross that desert in the dark without paths...
How do we know there wasn't a civilization in there, all the paths that were there?
Well, it could have been, but there would have been remains, wouldn't there, I guess?
Unless they were just mud huts.
Well, I did watch...
Yeah, could have been.
Over those time, they have just completely fucked off.
Yeah,
I did watch that these reckon they were made by people walking.
Good chance of that.
But,
you have to go into
but no one can really say, and they are one of the few things that are kind of a bit...
The geoglyphs are weird though, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Looks a bit like Pingu.
The guy that's waving, looks like it's raised, doesn't it?
It's Pingu waving.
It's a grey.
It looks like it... Does anyone else think it looks raised, or does it...
Its arms up?
No, it's fucking E.T. smoking a bong. See that thing that's coming up its mouth?
Oh yeah, it's like...
A huge fucking bong.
Or is that or is that some kind of hunting horn?
Yeah, it could be.
Bong. I'm going with bong.
Like free weed down here.
I know it's his leg, but looks like it could be a bong.
No, I can see what you mean. You're talking here.
Be his third leg.
No, Greys don't have a third leg. They don't have any legs. Right, should we go on to the best evidence for this?
Go on then.
The computer.
Oh no. We can do that one, that's the last one then. The Antikythera mechanism is an ancient extraterrestrial computer. The mysterious Antikythera mechanism is an ancient extraterrestrial...
Said it, yeah.
Yeah. In 1901, scuba divers off the coast of that place discovered a strange box among a shipwreck, and nearly 50 years later, after x-raying the box, the team of scientists discovered it contained a complex clockwork mechanism made up of over 30 bronze gears. Scientists believe it was created between 205 BCE and 60 BCE, so we're talking ancient Greece, aren't we? That's the period.
I can't even remember what the ancient Greeks were about.
205 BC, I think we're talking the Greeks are pretty advanced. They're one of the leading civilizations in the Mediterranean.
Right.
I'd go with that. Well, they've got democracy. It tracked the motions of the moon and sun through the solar system. Ancient aliens theorised that such an advanced computer-like device could not be created with the era's technology, and therefore it must have had extraterrestrial ties, because people couldn't possibly make something, could they? One smart person. It's made of bronze.
And it's cogs and
it's
wheels.
cogs.
It's hardly the computer of the century, is it?
It tracks the moon, so it's just a timepiece.
Pretty fucking clever.
Oh,
It's
beautiful
clever.
as well, isn't
It's
it?
beautiful. That's obviously it wasn't in the. I don't think that's how it was. It is. I think that's the mechanism certainly, but whether it was mounted in that beautiful glass, I don't know.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe.
But I mean,
Yeah,
it does look stuff.
but it's only bronze.
Yeah.
You could have made that, and who's to say it actually fucking worked?
I think they've made a working replica of it.
That might be the replica,
Yeah.
but I think it's not beyond the realms.
No.
that the Greeks
They were pretty clever, weren't they?
could have made that. I mean, it might have only been one of them, and it might have been the invention of someone like Archimedes, who was just a bit more mad.
It could have been a one-off thing for
Could have been a one-off thing that
I was going to say the king, but they didn't have kings, did they?
they had democratically elected leaders in some
Yeah.
places. Or the Spartans. Depends where you were in Greece.
Yeah.
The Athenians were a democracy.
They looked at the sky quite a bit, didn't they? They didn't have TV, so they're looking at the sky quite a bit.
You are right.
Well, a crick next, did they?
They weren't shagging anything that moved, I guess. Yeah, there wouldn't have been much else for him to do, was
And
there?
they're sailing about a bit, so you're going to come up with inventions to help these things, aren't you?
Well, yeah, there were great seafarers around the Mediterranean, so if you've got something that can track the passage of time on a ship, that's fantastic, isn't it? And reliably do it. But there's no actually to say they might have got it to work now, but who's to say it worked when they first built it?
That's probably what was in the sea, but what's this junk?
Yeah, the ship sank, so it can't have been that good.
Yeah. It's all your fault, damn contraption.
Yeah, throws
I
it
don't know what it
overboard.
does.
We thought it was daylight. Dark. We didn't see that island. Fuck.
Damn things.
We should have invented a lighthouse instead. Fuck's sake.
I'm not buying this one, by the way.
Yeah, it's
I
nice though.
I don't think it's beyond the realms of possibility that someone of that period
Yeah.
could have made, because we were smart. Whatever you want to say about humans, we are smart. And there's always some guy that's a bit eccentric and smart with it, and they make some random shit.
You're
Look at
talking like
well, we're
Elon
smart.
Musk.
Nikolai Tesla.
We haven't got much to go up against, have we, really?
Well, that's all the top of the damn food chain, Mike.
You know what I mean? That we know of, anyway. But we are pretty smart. I mean, we've worked out the beginning of the universe. We know what happened to within, like, the first few seconds.
Exactly.
Well,
And we're really good at...
It's a theory. but
We're really good at certain
the
things.
maths is there.
You know, finding new and inventive ways to kill each other. We're fucking amazing at that. And that then spawns onto other things that actually trickle down to do some good.
we're amazing at finding different ways to create other things and other humans. Even look how many different sex positions there are. How many animals you see that do it in different styles?
How many hours do you think of
I've never
human
seen giraffes
history?
on a sex swing.
Exactly.
But I bet if you gave them one, they'd use it, the kinky bastards.
Or with a wand, you know, a gorilla with a wand.
I wonder how many hours of human history have been dedicated to figuring out, recording and drawing sex positions.
Well, the Book of Kama Sutra.
But everyone had naughty stuff. I mean, there's naughty parchments. It was to be like a comic, wouldn't it? It's just, there's the largest collection of pornography in the Vatican. It's all like ancient, like medieval porn.
No, there was a folded up page from a porno mag outside the back of her house earlier.
Was there?
Yeah, I forgot to mention it. As I went out to close the gate to go to the shop, I noticed it. I thought,
wow, they still make porn mags. Someone still
I
buys
know,
them.
man. Is that thing?
That's the light bulb.
That's that light bulb thing from earlier.
Mm.
See, that looks more like a light bulb when it's not positioned on people and things like that.
But that's only because they've made it work.
Yeah.
It made a working model. Alright, we go on to the next article.
Yeah. The only decent evidence, in my opinion, for any contact with aliens is the Dogon tribe in Africa.
Ooh.
Those are the traditional masks. Apparently the people that visited them looked like that or something similar. Visited
my
their
ex.
ancestors.
Is that your ex? Oh, Mike, she was a stunner.
Yeah. She had an oblong
Hey,
face
Pete.
just like that.
Nice teeth.
And a big bulging forehead.
Big bulging forehead.
And dead. Black eyes.
Yeah, that's it. You met her.
Did she headbutt you when she was pissed off?
I tell you what, you don't want to get your cock near them teeth.
If you go and look at the picture, listener, it's
Dogon African tribe.
Dogon
mate. You know what I'm on
African
about.
If you want to know what Mike's sex looks like, yeah, there you go.
The mythology and folklore of indigenous people is often written off as exactly that. Legends and parables used to remember elders and teach younger generations lessons about morality. But what about a tribe whose lore gives a precise location of astronomical bodies and phenomena that aren't discovered by modern science for hundreds of years?
Ooh.
The Dogon are that tribe, and they have known for centuries that their ancestors are descended of a species from the Sirius star system 8.5 light years away.
Dog star, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it is.
Gonna make a reference to my ex.
Best not. Yeah, you might be listening one day. If I come back to haunt you, that one.
You don't know which one I'm on about.
No, that's a valid point. That's a good point. Shouldn't assume.
Could
Never
be one of
assume.
those many
That's it.
women.
Yes. And Mike's drowning in coots.
Mate, I've seen his black book. It is full.
I have to beat them off with the shitty stick.
I wonder what that stick was in the top.
That's what the smell is.
Works, mate. Works too well.
Now,
Moving on.
The Dogon inhabited area of Mali called the Biandangara Escarpment, a stretch of sandstone cliffs nearly 100 miles long and reaching up to 1,500 feet high. Taking advantage of the area for its natural protection, the tribe built their homes into the side of the cliffs during the 3rd century BC and have remained there ever since. It wasn't until the 1930s that French anthropologists discovered their strangely advanced astronomical knowledge despite maintaining a very primitive lifestyle. Although the Dogon live in an area more than 2,000 miles from Egypt, they have a history that appears to have some intriguing connections with the famed ancient civilization. The Dogon are incredibly familiar with the system where Sirius star aliens are said to have travelled from, imparting them with knowledge hundreds of years ago, and these beings, known as the Nomos, were amphibious beings coming from the same star system as the Egyptian god Isis.
Frog people.
Amphibious beings, yeah, Frogtown.
Ribbit.
Frog down.
The Dogon also claim there's a 3rd star in the Sirius system that has yet to be discovered, and gravitational observations might prove their claim to be true. Were the Dogon visited by spiritual beings or ancient astronauts, or did the anthropologists who first studied them carry out an elaborate deception by giving them astronomical insight to regurgitate in front of a camera? I think it's a lot of effort teaching these guys to speak.
So the star wasn't discovered until the 50s in an advanced telescope.
Yeah. And they knew about it.
And they knew about it. That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. So you have to wonder about that. I think that's the best claim they've got, is something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see what Carl Sagan has to say.
The Sagan weighed in on his take of the Dogon tribe and their supposed celestial cognizance, close, by disavowing the idea that it could have come from otherworldly beings. The Dogon were aware of Jupiter's moons and Saturn along with its rings, but Sagan said that their lack of awareness of any other planets in our solar system was evidence they were only reiterating a few pieces of knowledge given to them by their interaction with French anthropologists. So he's saying it's a hoax.
Damn French.
Well, I thought the French didn't visit them till the 30s.
They could have said about the first star, though, I don't know.
But then it said that, Sirius A is visible to naked eye.
But they're saying, there's a second
Sirius
one.
B was not discovered until the 50s.
Yeah.
And the third one that we still don't know about.
Well, it might be true.
Yeah. Yeah, possible maybe. Why the hell would they talk to them about that, though?
No,
Yeah. That's it, isn't it?
And again, I suppose you'd be talking about things you can see, and if you're at night, you'd be looking at the stars, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
About that, it's a Sirius star.
But they
There might be two more, we don't know.
Well, they said they knew about the second one, didn't they?
Who knew about it?
The Dogon tribe, that's what the...
Yeah, but the French couldn't have known about the second one.
No, they couldn't, so Sagan's covering up the truth, damn it. The Saig?
Well, it's just a possible weak argument, but then again, he's a lot cleverer than any of us will ever be, so
Yeah.
we're probably missing something.
Anyway, that's the evidence for that.
That bird's loud, isn't it?
Yeah, you can hear a bird chirping, listener, sorry.
Very pretty tune, though.
What's our thoughts on ancient aliens?
Same as nowadays aliens. I got no qualms in believing that aliens were around and visiting, and they were more likely to visit because they would have deemed them much less of a threat than they would deem us in nowadays. So the fact that they would interact with them and maybe even share shit with them, I find that more believable than, you know what I mean? It's more than likely, isn't it? If they are there, and yeah, you can understand why they would interact with them.
I can be on board for turning up and, I don't know, giving them a little nod to say, hey, that's how you make a fire.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. This is how you make a better steel. Not directly getting too much involved, like giving us
laser guns.
Giving us laser guns or AK-47s, and passing themselves off as gods because of their knowledge. Then maybe, right? I can maybe go for that. Did a bunch of aliens had to land here to get repaired in Mali back in the day, and they were from Sirius, and they encountered this tribe, and using the universal translator, they said, "Don't worry, we're from another star system. We'll tell you all about it. Hi, how are you? Let's be friends. Stop waving that spear at me." Phaser one of them.
My AK-47.
There you go, you've always got to put a couple down to show you
Yeah,
well, I'm hoping that they'd set their phasers to stun. Instead of just gunning a couple down mercilessly in cold blood. And then probably taking their widows, am I right?
In every orifice.
In your harem, you're going to start.
It establishes dominance, doesn't it?
I'll go for that. Yeah, there's a possibility that they turned up, gave us a few little nudges here and there, you tiny little advancements, maybe some genetic manipulation to get us along a little bit faster in terms of evolution. Could be pushing that one. But that's as far as it goes. They didn't build the pyramids, they weren't spreading the Black Death, they weren't wiping out the dinosaurs, they weren't doing any of that shit that we've talked about.
Well, I don't think they're in for sharing, not at all. I don't think, we've ever taken anything off them. But all the depictions of hieroglyphics, I think we have seen them in the past, in the skies. And, the likes of these tribes, they're just pointing at a star. They might be just their god or whatever, mightn't it?
Yeah.
Well, they might have been visited. I think they've been peaceful interactions, haven't they?
Well, yeah, mainly because we were so primitive and we just think they were gods, because their technology would be so far ahead.
Yeah.
It would seem like magic to this tribe in Mali.
Yeah.
If you turn up, like you say, if Pete goes to this tribe, like in God, how long ago was it?
250 BC.
250 BC, and he rocks up in a in a spaceship with an AK-47. And he
That Pete again.
I was trying to just let
and
it
he,
out
you know,
really gentle.
and getting in like a mobile phone and or doing it or anything, just fuck me, anything modern would
Blow
seem
their
like
mind,
just
wouldn't
complete magic
It
to
would
them.
blow their mind.
Yeah,
So you could be.
you could just pass yourself as being a god.
But you know what as well?
And then you got slaves, and that's what I think the aliens, if they did turn up, they just enslave us.
Yeah.
Think about it like this, right? I'm best part 6 foot tall, yeah? 5 foot 11,
You're
10
the,
and a half, yeah?
you're the tallest bloke in the room.
Exactly. When you go back two.
No, I meant then. If you go back then, you're the tallest bloke in
That's
the room.
what I mean. You go back 2,500 years. Average height would have been like 5 foot tall. So you would have been a good foot taller than anyone else. So
Yeah.
you see these tall, godlike people. That might, again, it could be. You don't know whether it could be
Ancient
future,
basketball players.
Could you imagine if they met one of the Chinese
future
basketball players?
travellers.
No, well, we throw ridiculously tall people now.
Yeah.
You know, might not have been as tall. We've got like 8 foot tall people now. Some
Some Chinese dude who's
Yeah.
really tall.
So maybe like 7.5 feet was the maximum, but they still threw them back out of them days, and they were the giants,
And were killed.
or worshipped.
Like deemed like almost like instead of a freak, like you'd get like the freak shows in the old Americas where someone was tall like that. They were in a freak show, weren't they?
So is it this point of this like time travel? It could be someone time travelling.
You never know. It could just be that because we're always trying to do time travel, and you know for a fact, right? As soon as we get to time travel, if we get there, people are going to go back to then. You don't know.
But Stephen Hawking, he held a party for time travellers and no one showed up.
Did he?
Yeah.
Bless him.
On his TV show, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just to prove that they don't exist.
But who's to say they weren't wise to that and didn't show
Well, yeah.
and thought it was
Well,
funny? Maybe in the future, Mike, Stephen Hawking was wrong about everything. They're like, oh, we're not fucking sorting that. We're not paying a Atlantic's TV show.
Party. He got everything wrong. Listen to him.
In fact, he's like, you know, he's been stricken from every scientific record.
Proper butt of the joke.
Mm.
Poor Steve.
I'm on the fence.
I'm actually surprised you're on the fence.
Yeah, I still believe it could. Some of the sightings could have been ancient probes, alien probes. I don't believe it's manned craft. I don't believe aliens have visited or visiting back then. But I think possibly some of the things in the skies. You know, what were the Hindu texts? Could possibly be unmanned alien probes.
What, having a sky battle?
Yeah. Because basically, I think if aliens are interested in us, it's either to study us or to enslave us.
Who's to say that we weren't slaves to these
Well, like
so-called...
Stargate, they're taking our
taking our minerals and stuff.
million people go missing every year.
No, but we forced them out. And that's why none of them ever come back.
Maybe.
Or they took what they wanted and just left us here. Maybe there was a mineral on Earth that isn't here now.
Ooh.
Because they mined it all and used us as slaves and then they just fucked off. Made us worship them like gods.
But again, the chemical composition of our planet it's the same as all these sort of exoplanets that we find throughout the system. Why would you bother?
Because they've mined them all, Mike.
Yeah, but you just get one close to you. When you come all the way out here, nah.
Yeah, well,
We haven't got anything special on our planet, basically.
not anymore.
You'd go.
Anyway,
They've taken it all what they wanted.
All the unobtainium's gone.
All the unobtainium's gone. We stripped it bare, that's why it's like unobtainium. Who the fuck came up with that name?
Brilliant.
It's terrible! Unobtainium. It's like, and then I just imagine me in the pitch meeting, like, oh, we need to think
rare,
we need
you
to
know
think
what I
of a thing that's so rare it's almost unobtainable, and someone goes, unobtainium. Fucking genius, write it down. It's, oh, come on, it's fucking awful.
Yeah, it's a shit name, but I watched an episode of Pointless, I was watching that, and this woman got to the final, and she was a chemistry student, and one of the questions was name, 3 elements on the periodic table, and you've got to try and
It'll
get
be
the...
pointless.
Yeah. One of her guesses was unobtainium.
Ah.
It was amazing. He's a chemistry student as well. And he was like, nah, sorry, that's made up. Avatar.
Still a shit name. Alright, are we done with Ancient
Yeah.
Aliens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not for it. I just think too many people are making too much money. And last thought on it, I don't think we're giving ourselves enough credit. I don't see why humans couldn't have built these really advanced structures, because you got to look at time scale. They're not being knocked up like a modern house in 3 to 6 months. These things are taking generations to build. These civilizations have been around for a long time. It takes time to build. They haven't got cranes and stuff. It's all being done with big whips and manual labour.
And the pharaoh that started it, it would probably be his great-grandson that inherited it.
That's it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, the Western Cathedral, the one in Spain, took 500 years to build.
500 years?
Yeah. It was like, the grandfather might start it and the great-great-great-great-grandson might even finish it.
Yeah.
Because they're stone, the stonemasons, these things are carved beautifully to fit into place. It's all meant to be... This is as much as a statement of your greatness as the pharaoh. I can build this. Look what I can do. I can afford to build this. Look at my greatness. I'm enriching civilization. And that'll be my tomb when I'm gone. Everyone will know who built it. And what a fantastic
It's not
thing
that
it
though, is it? It's the fact that where they're placed. And the fact that they're so precisely aligned with the stars.
Well, they're like stars. Spent enough time looking up at them.
I think that's the bit that people say, oh, that couldn't have been done without the instruments, scientific instruments to do it.
Well, they had star maps and stuff like that. They'd have been tracking the stars for hundreds of years. Movements of the night sky. Because what else is there to do? My thing is they didn't turn up and build everything. That's what I think. I think we could have done it ourselves quite easily. It's doing us a disservice as a species. We haven't got many things we can proud of, but we can build shit.
Yeah, we're ingenuitive. Is that the right word?
Ingenuitive.
That's the one.
Right, that's all I've got. Shame on these people for making money off this.
Makes you think though, and it's entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah. I've been Ben, thanks for listening. Don't do the favour, don't join a cult.
I've been Mike, thanks for listening, peace out, may the force be with you.
And I've been Claire, keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears.
I've been Pete. Hey, hi, shoot,